Hi, this is Shannon Tidwell, design team member with BasicGrey, and I was lucky enough to be asked to make a December Daily album using the Studio Calico December Daily kit because it features a lot of BasicGrey products in it. I'm going to be sharing a couple of videos throughout the month of December, and for this first video I just wanted to share with you my thought process on putting the album together and kind of coming up with the basic idea of how I was going to organize my album as well as embellish the cover of the album. Okay, so you've gotten a little peek at all the embellishments. I wanted you to see the actual album. You can see that it's a nice blank slate. It's a ring binder, 4x6 size. We have 10 chipboard dividers as well as 20 page protectors and then 5 fun transparencies to use as well. So whenever I start on a mini album, I like to kind of set the tone for the album by embellishing the cover. So that's what I'm going to get started on here first today. I wanted to make sure that whatever embellishments I put on the cover of the album would stay on and would be permanent. So I loved the colorful look of all these brads and decided that they would look really neat on the cover of the album. And first I thought about gluing them on or maybe taking the metal piece off the back and gluing them on and trying to figure out a way to do that. But then it just occurred to me that the most permanent way to get them on would be to go ahead and use them as brads. So I got my crocodile and started punching holes. And you can see that I kind of just went at it randomly. I kind of eyeballed it. I knew I just wanted it to be a scattering of circles. So I just kind of went to work with that and let it come together. You could easily lay these brads out on the cover and kind of figure out your design first and then just put pencil marks where you want to punch the actual holes. You can see that for now I'm leaving the brads uncovered on the back side. That might change as I'm working with the album if I feel like it's a problem or it bothers me, but right now I'm just going to leave them uncovered on the back. I also decided to add a few letter stickers into the arrangement of the brads so that the title would be on the front cover of the album. And here is the cover of the album finished. You can see that I thought it needed a little bit of sparkle, so I added some rhinestone stickers that were included in the kit. All right, so now it's time to get started on our inside pages of the album. And what I did first was just get a big platter and spread out all of the fun embellishments that came in this kit. There's so much stuff that I didn't want to put it inside a jar or something that I had to dig through. I wanted it all kind of laid out in front of me, and I didn't want to accidentally cover stuff up or lose it if I had to switch projects. So I'm just going to leave it all on this platter. The only thing that I've added here that I made myself were these little tags that I cut with my silhouette out of a BasicGrey paper from Aspen Frost. Since some of those papers are included in the 6x6, I'm go ahead and incorporate them using my silhouette. And then here are all the stickers and stamps that I'm going to keep stacked up next to me. And here are the papers that I was mentioning. You can see that I've already cut some up and started using them. Okay, now the fun part of putting our album together. I'm going to take a little pause right here for a second and kind of explain to you my thought process on how I wanted my album to come together. So I discovered that I kind of think about making this mini album like I think about packing for a trip. I never want to be tied down to have to wear a certain outfit on a certain day on a trip because that's all I've got left. So that's kind of how I thought with these pages. I don't want to be tied down to have to use a certain page on a certain day because that's the way I've planned this album out. What if I didn't take a picture that day and here I've got a page that needs a picture to go in it or things like that. So what I wanted to do is I just kind of stuck with core pages. And you can see that I left the raw chipboard dividers. I did add some stitching and then just added embellishments to that. So I kind of just kept the pages pretty basic, added little embellishments here and there, and then I've got plenty of room to write lots of journaling, add pictures, receipts, whatever it is that I want to add to this album as I go. So right now it's just a basic core album that's ready to have the fun stuff added to it. But I've got plenty of playroom, but I've also done a lot of embellishing to get it started and kind of set the mood, the tone for the album. All right, well, let's take a look at the cover page to start. You can see that I used one of the chipboard divider sheets. I left it just raw. I did add some stitching around the edge, and you can see that I've kind of continued with the circle theme that I used on the cover of the album. I really liked how the raw stitching looked on the back of the chipboard, so I left that visible and just added a pocket and a tag. And you can see that I've left that snowflake kind of blank there because I thought I might add an extra embellishment once I know what I'm writing there. And here you can see my little daily divider pages. This is what enables me to mark the day and at the same time be able to switch around the actual content pages behind the dividers. So to make the dividers, I use the 6x6 paper pad that's included in the kit. I cut them down to 4x3. And you can see that I added some tape along the inside spine so that when I punch the holes, it's got a little extra reinforcement there. And then I'm attaching the tags that I made with my silhouette cut from the BasicGrey paper. And here's one of the first pages that I did, but as the album progresses, this page might not actually end up in this spot, so we'll just have to see where it goes. But all I did was take one of the page protectors, I stitched on a little die cut embellishment onto the front, so that way I've still got plenty of room to slide in a photo or a journaling card, whatever it is that I want to do. And here's the day 2 divider, the same process that I did with the day 1. You can see that I added a little punch circle behind the 2 just so it would stand out a little bit better. And this is a transparency sheet, and what I've done is I've stitched on this die cut kind of pocket thing on the back side of it and then slid in a little tag in between the transparency and the pocket. So I've got plenty of room that I can add some stamping once I add my photo or whatever it is that's going to go on this page. I can add in those final embellishments. And I've got the back too, and I've got that white area. All the white areas are available for journaling or extra embellishments or whatever it is that I decide to do as I'm adding the content to the pages. For the day 3 divider, I changed it up just a little bit because honestly, that's kind of how I scrapbook. I wouldn't want all my pages to look exactly the same. So whenever I'm doing a mini album, I kind of change things up just a little bit or I would get bored with it. But using those same tags throughout helps it all be cohesive. And here we have the next page ready for journaling or photos. I used another one of the raw chipboard, did the stitching around the edge, added some fun punch circles from the glitter paper. You can see that I left the stitching on the back. I really like that raw look and just added a few strips of tape to kind of dress it up a little bit. I've got plenty of room that I can add whatever it is I need to add to these pages. Whatever it is, I won't feel locked into having to fill a certain amount of space or find a photo that really doesn't go with that day because I'll be able to switch all these pages around if I need to. Okay, and here's our day 4 divider, the same concept. You can see that I added another glittery circle behind it to kind of make the 4 stand out a little bit. Got plenty of room for journaling on the back of the divider. For this next page, I used one of the page protectors again. I added my embellishments right to the cover, right on top of the page protector, and then I'm able to slide in the photo or whatever journaling I want to. And I've got plenty of room on the back side as well for journaling. Okay, so now it's time for me to get busy filling in the rest of the days for this album. But now that I've got the kind of the feel of the album and kind of the look I'm going for, it shouldn't take long at all to get the rest of these core pages ready. And since I'm changing things up with each page as I go, not doing things too uniform, I'm hoping that that will keep me really interested in the album, encourage me to get more creative as I go, and keep things from being too monotonous. So next time I see you, I'm going to have the rest of the core pages finished for this album, as well as the first few days of the album complete with pictures and journaling. I really, truly cannot wait to see how this album turns out, and especially once it's full of all of our December memories. It's really going to be special. So I hope you guys will come back in a couple weeks and see how it's turning out. Thanks again. This is Shannon Tidwell, design team member at BasicGrey. Bye.